Hello, marvelous mom. I am so grateful for you. I know you take the time each week to tune in, and you are so busy. It's no small thing for you to make the time to be here week after week, sharing a cup of coffee, taking me on a walk with you. You invite me into the chaos of your life as you clean the closet, drop Johnny off for football practice, or pick up Samantha from dance, as you think about what to fix for dinner on the way home, while knowing you will have a late night as you finish up a project for work or try to get your new business off the ground. It's unending, and I really value your time. Thank you so much. I don't know about you, but it always ministers to my soul when someone takes the time to acknowledge and recognize something I've done or who I am. I help give leadership to a women's monthly luncheon called Wise Women here in the Kansas City metro area. Shout out to Wise Women. If you live in the vicinity, reach out. I'd love to have you join me. At the end of each luncheon, we're invited to give shout outs to other women in the room. Last month, someone stood up and shared how much it meant when I saw her come in with her arms full and offered to help her unburden herself from some of her load. Tears sprang into my eyes and started to wet my cheeks as she shared. I didn't offer to help or serve her because I wanted anything from her. It was just the kind thing to do. And when she took the time to recognize it and acknowledge it, I wept. It touched my heart. Last weekend, I hosted a workshop called Season to Shine for 8 women in my home. It was an intimate time where we took a deep dive into the power of gratitude. During our time, Valerie had a powerful aha moment that I want to share. She looked at me, she looked around the room, and she said, "Oh my gosh, it means so much when someone tells me thank you, when they take the time to acknowledge something I've done for them, whether it's work or at church. It is so special and it warms my heart." She said, "I get it. I get the power of gratitude. When I take time to tell others what I'm grateful for, it's like I'm giving them a gift of joy." Bingo, Val. I'd like for you to take a moment with me. Think about a time when someone has acknowledged a simple act of kindness you've shown them. Go ahead, Mom. Think about that time when someone expressed a heartfelt gratitude to you. Maybe it was a note from a coworker, a text from a friend, or a child's hand-drawn card. How did it make you feel? Loved? Seen? Appreciated? That's the power of expressing gratitude to someone. It has this incredible ability to breathe life into your weary soul. When you give that gift of gratitude to others, it does the same for them. It's like a gift that money can't buy. And on today's Mom to Mom Mentoring podcast, I'm going to walk you through a simple way to incorporate this gift giving practice in your life and the lives of your children. Hey friends, welcome back to Mom Mentoring. I'm Misty Hughes, your gratitude guide, celebration coach, dream champion, and mom mentor. Basically, I'm like your cheerleader with a cup of coffee in one hand and a confetti cannon in the other, ready to celebrate the dreams of your heart. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found this space where we help busy Christian working moms just like you navigate the beautiful chaos of life, faith, and family. Mom, there are things that matter most to each of you, and it matters that you not only know what those things are, but you learn to live, lead, and love from the foundation of knowing yourself in that authentic way. I love it when David declares to himself and God, "I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your workmanship, God, is marvelous, and my soul knows it very well." Beloved, does your soul know it? Do you value the things that God has put in you and use them for a guide in your life? Do you even know what they are and why they are important to you? Well, I want to invite you to something super special. It's a free virtual mastermind. Align your life with what matters most. In this mastermind, you're going to walk away with a renewed sense of direction. You'll feel empowered to make decisions that honor God and align with your values, and therefore, they honor you. It's an incredible opportunity to pause, reflect, and realign how you live each day with your values. I'm limiting this to just 12 women, so don't wait. You can register at momtomommentoring.com/values. Go grab your spot now. Okay, grab that cup of coffee, pop in those AirPods, do what you need to do, and let's get started. Now, I've always been a huge proponent of saying thank you after Christmas and after birthdays. When my kids were growing up, we'd gather around the table, get out the blank typing paper and do splatter art or color a picture on the front of the paper. And then we'd walk through the process of saying thank you to the gift giver. Over the years, as my kids have grown, I've tried to maintain this practice of writing notes. And some seasons I've been better at it than others. But I didn't understand the power of writing these notes until I went through a very dark season of life. It was about 8 or 9 years ago, and I was on a trajectory of good. And then, like so often happens, the rains come down and the floods came up, and you don't have anything to stand on. It was during such a season where the Lord led me to Isaiah 54 that talks about the storm tossed and not comforted. I said, "Here I am, Lord." God promised to rebuild me through that passage, and it became an anchor for my soul. So, what does that have to do with note writing, you might ask? Well, in that dark season of life, I held on to the promise of God, but I said, how do I walk with you in the process of rebuilding? And you know what God told me? Well, he didn't audibly tell me, but I had this sense to take out my stack of note cards and write notes. In fact, I had this impression that I was to write or communicate gratitude to at least 3 people every day. Now, it might be in the form of a phone call, it might be in the form of a text message, but a lot of times it was in the form of a note. And you know what? As I wrote those notes, day after day and week after week, I found myself counting my blessings. I found myself reflecting on the good that this person had done in my life. The practice of writing these notes literally helped lift me up out of the miry clay and reestablish my feet upon the rock. Writing those thank you notes became my lifeline, a way to keep my head above water. Gratitude wasn't just about good manners or doing the right thing. It was literally God's plan to heal my heart. I've had many opportunities to learn, grow, and develop in the practice of intentional gratitude. In fact, I'd like to invite you to go back and listen to podcast episode number 5, which is all about the transformational power of gratitude. I wholeheartedly believe in the transformational power of gratitude. Taking the time to write a thank you note might seem daunting. It might feel overwhelming, but stick with me, Mom. I'm going to walk you through just some simple ways to take 5, maybe 10 minutes out of your week to express gratitude in a way that is meaningful and speaks to the heart of others. Did you know that studies show that writing thank you notes is not just good manners? Writing thank you notes can have a strong psychological effect, both for the sender and the receiver. And here's the cool thing. Taking the time to intentionally practice gratitude has health benefits. It can affect your career in a positive way. It has benefits for your emotional well-being and your social life, as well has relational benefits. I love the fact that learning to practice gratitude and helping your children learn this same practice makes us all less self-centered, less materialistic, and more optimistic. Who doesn't want those things as a part of your home, family, workplace, and community? Unfortunately, the sad truth is that gratitude remains one of the most neglected and underestimated virtues and among the most underutilized attitudes, to the point where it is ignored altogether. The irony of it is that when we prioritize our own happiness or our children's happiness or self-esteem over the attentiveness and care for others, aka the expression of gratitude, we are less likely to be happy in the long run. Now, I want to point out that there are multiple ways to intentionally practice gratitude. The writing of thank you notes is just one way that you can incorporate a practice of gratitude into your own life and help your children understand the power and the benefits of gratitude as well. Science has shown that the actual writing and sending of thank you notes has greater lasting effects than other gratitude practices. In 2020, a study determined that not only did the writers' happiness scores go up, their scores on depression were lowered for at least a month following the exercise. Another leading researcher tested the impact of various positive psychology interventions on over 400 people. When the week's assignment was to write and personally deliver a letter of gratitude to someone who had never been properly thanked for his or her kindness, participants in this study immediately exhibited a huge increase in happiness scores. This impact was greater than any other form of intervention, with benefits lasting for a month. So you see, this practice of writing thank you notes has lasting effects and immediate results of gratification and happiness. So let's get started building happy hearts and happy homes. Let's keep it super simple with 3 steps to writing a thank you note. First, just start with a warm greeting. Dear Aunt Sally, or hey, my beautiful friend. Step 2, think about the specific thing that you are thanking this person for. Is it an act of kindness? Is it something they did for you? Is it a character trait that has caught your attention? Or is it something they got for you? Is it that cozy blanket that they gave you for Christmas? When you write this second part, be specific about what it is and what it's meant for you. Thank you for that cozy blanket. It's perfect for the chilly mornings when I'm sitting with my coffee. Or thank you so much for helping me carry all my stuff in for my presentation. That was so kind of you, and I really appreciate your attentiveness. And step number 3, end your thank you note with love or well wishes. Gratefully yours, warmly yours. And Mom, you don't have to overthink it. A short, heartfelt note is always better than a long one that you never get around to writing. Now, I've had a morning routine for as long as I can remember, or at least a desired morning routine, because when you're raising kids, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I practice gratitude as a part of my morning routine every week. One morning a week, I practice gratitude by writing thank you notes. I typically write specific notes for people who have shown me kindness, who have helped me in some way, or given me something the week before. I would encourage you to look for space in your week. It can be 10 minutes. One note a week is going to increase your happiness score and create resilience and better relational connection. So find 10 minutes in your schedule and pull out your fun little note cards and write a gratitude note. Okay, now let's talk about how to encourage your kids to join the thank you note fun. Here's ways to make it easier. Number one is just set the example. Let your kids see you writing thank you notes. Make it fun. Get colorful stationery, stickers, markers, and keep it short. A sentence or two is plenty for younger kids. You can help them focus. You can prompt them with questions like, what was your favorite part of the gift? And then practice gratitude together. Talk about who they'd like to thank and why, and incorporate what did that gift mean to you? Why was it special? Mom, celebrate the effort. Praise your kids for their kindness, not just their writing skills. This past summer, my granddaughter was visiting, and during her time here, we arranged with one of our neighbors a tour at the football stadium of our city. This is her favorite football team, so it was a big deal. After the tour, it was time to write the thank you note. Now, this is not a part of her rhythm of life, so it was a little bit of a challenge for her. It was a new idea. We got out a fun card, worked through the introduction, and talked about specifically what she liked about the tour. And she began to write it out. Her countenance just changed. And then we got a little gift together and we walked it down to our neighbors. Later, we received another note from our wonderful little tour guide. And my granddaughter's heart was just beaming. She felt so good about writing that note and about giving that gift of enjoyment and gratitude to someone else. And then when it was reciprocated back to her, she beamed all the more. It was such a fun experience of the power of gratitude and what it does as we give it and as we receive it. Mom, what would it look like for you to incorporate a thank you note rhythm into the rhythm of your family? How can you set aside time weekly or after birthdays or holidays to tackle a few thank you notes together? If you take one thing away from today's episode, let it be this. Writing thank you notes is not just about doing a chore or a lost art. It is a way to reflect and give God's love, to lift your spirit, and to give a gift of kindness to others. It's a small act with an eternal impact. All right, as we wrap up, here's your gratitude challenge. Write one thank you note this week. Keep it simple, have some fun, and don't stress. You've got this. And if you loved today's episode, be sure to follow the podcast so you never miss a new one. Share this with a mom friend who could use some encouragement herself. And if you have an extra minute, I'd love for you to leave a review. Your words mean the world to me, and they help other moms find mom-to-mom mentoring. Oh, and don't forget, register for the free virtual mastermind. Align your life with what matters most. It's happening soon, and space is limited to 12 women. Head over to momtomommentoring.com/values to save your seat. Don't miss out. Until next time. Remember to live, lead, and love from an overflowing heart of joy and peace. Keep shining, Mama. You're amazing.